High Regent Vexthor gazed through the crystalline viewport of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, at what should have been a moment of supreme triumph. The Zephyrian Galactic Empire's most prestigious fleet, over 300 vessels, including 12 planet-killer dreadnoughts, had finally located the homeworld of the mysterious species that had been casually ignoring their expansion for the past 50 years. Earth hung before them like a blue-green jewel, completely undefended. Finally, Vexthor hissed through his breathing apparatus, his scaled hide rippling with satisfaction. These humans will learn what happens when they refuse to acknowledge the Empire's authority. For decades, human colonies had simply existed, not fighting, not surrendering, not even responding to ultimatums. They just went about their business as if the mighty Zephyrian Empire masters of half the galaxy were nothing more than a minor inconvenience. The audacity was infuriating. "Sir," Communications Officer Zale called from her station, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet." "Excellent. Put it through. Let's hear their pleas for mercy." The main screen flickered to life, revealing what appeared to be a human male sitting at a desk, sipping from a small ceramic container. He had graying hair, wore a simple blue garment, and looked remarkably relaxed. "Oh, hello there," the human said pleasantly, as if greeting neighbors over a fence. "I'm President Martinez. I take it you're the folks from the, He glanced at some papers. "Zephyrian Galactic Empire. Sorry, we've been meaning to get back to you about all those messages." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. You've been meaning to get back to us? Do you have any idea who you're addressing?" "I am High Regent Vexthor, commander of the Imperial Fleet, conqueror of 700 worlds." "That's nice," Martinez said, taking another sip. "Sounds like you've been busy." "Coffee? Coffee?" Vexthor's voice cracked. "I offer you the chance to surrender before we reduce your pathetic world to ash, and you offer me coffee? Colombian dark roast. Really good stuff. No? Your loss." Martinez shrugged and leaned back in his chair. "So, what brings you to our neck of the woods? Besides the whole conquest thing, I mean." Behind Vexthor, his bridge crew exchanged confused glances. This wasn't how first contact with a pre-warp civilization was supposed to go. There should be terror, pleading, desperate attempts at negotiation. Not casual conversation. "Your species," Vexthor growled, "has systematically ignored every demand, every ultimatum, every show of force we've made over the past 50 years. You've treated the greatest empire in galactic history like we don't exist." Martinez nodded thoughtfully. "Well, that's not entirely accurate. We've been aware of you. It's just..." He paused, seemingly searching for the right words. "How do I put this diplomatically? You're not really our first galactic empire." "Not your first." The question escaped Vexthor before he could stop it. "Oh, no. You're actually number..." Martinez consulted his papers again. 17. Maybe 18, if you count the hegemony of Keth as separate from the reformed hegemony of Keth. The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of life support systems. 17? Vexthor whispered. "Give or take. They all start the same way, you know. Big fleets, dramatic announcements, lots of posturing about being the masters of the galaxy." Martinez waved a hand dismissively. "The Andromedans were probably the most creative. They showed up with ships shaped like giant skulls. Points for style, even if it was a bit much." Tactical Officer Quindar leaned toward Vexthor. "Sir, our sensors are detecting movement. Multiple contacts rising from the planet's surface." Finally, Vexthor muttered, "Their pathetic defense fleet." What emerged from Earth's atmosphere made every Zephyrian on the bridge question their understanding of reality. The ships weren't ships at all. They were structures. Massive geometric constructs that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the eye could process. They moved with the fluid grace of living things, yet displayed the perfect symmetry of pure mathematics. "Beautiful, aren't they?" Martinez said, noticing their expressions. "We call them perspective ships. They're grown rather than built, using techniques we learned from the 11th Empire. The crystalline consciousness, lovely folks, though terrible at small talk." One of the constructs drifted past the viewport, and Vexthor could see it was larger than his entire flagship. Impossibly, he could see through it, yet somehow also around it, as if it existed in several places simultaneously. "The thing about galactic empires," Martinez continued conversationally, "is that they're usually empires of force. Conquest, domination, that sort of thing. Very linear thinking. The problem is, once you get past a certain point of development, force becomes rather quaint." "What are you?" Vexthor breathed. Martinez smiled, that peculiar human expression that somehow managed to be both kind and terrifying. "We're what happens when a species gets conquered by 17 different galactic empires and decides to learn something from each one." The perspective ships began to emit a harmonic frequency that resonated through the hulls of every Zephyrian vessel. The sound was hauntingly beautiful, like the songs of dying stars. "The singers of Vega taught us that," Martinez explained. "Empire number 9, I think. They tried to conquer us with music. Ended up teaching us how to sing to the quantum foam itself." Around the fleet, space began to shimmer. The stars took on new colors, and Vexthor realized, with growing horror, that the fabric of reality was responding to the human ships like an instrument being played by master musicians. "Here's the thing about humans," Martinez said, standing up from his desk. "We're really, really good at learning. And after being on the receiving end of 17 galactic conquests, we've picked up quite a few tricks." The harmonic frequency shifted, and suddenly every weapon system on every Zephyrian ship transformed. Particle cannons became musical instruments. Missile launchers turned into fountains of light. Planet killers began generating fields of pure possibility. "Don't worry," Martinez chuckled, as his officers watched their dreadnoughts become cosmic art installations. "The effect is temporary. Well, mostly temporary. You might want to avoid firing those weapons for a few thousand years, though. They're expressing themselves differently now." Vexthor found his voice. "What do you want from us?" "Want?" Martinez looked genuinely puzzled. "Nothing really. Though, if you'd like to stick around for coffee and maybe share some stories about your travels, we'd love to hear them. We're always interested in meeting new civilizations." He paused, that maddening human smile spreading across his face again. "After all, you're only our 18th galactic empire. We're still learning,